Hello, this is Toxic Bob coming to you live. I got to tell you, that was one heck of a full moon out there last night. I felt the shifting changes come in through the waves of the energy that is coming from our universe, and I wanted to share that with you today. There's an awakening going on, so what I'm talking about today is the awakening. You know, we see a lot of it being a big topic going on throughout this society. And what is this awakening? What is this occurring? You know, there's a lot of changes going on. There's a lot of people that are becoming spiritually inclined to find something about themselves. Is there really a death? Have we been told the truth, or have we been lied to? Some of us are coming now into this fourth dimensional mindset while we live on this third dimensional planet, and that is questioning the real self. And the real self isn't what you're seeing, folks. This is not the real self. You're looking at a fourth dimensional being. Toxic Bob here is coming at you live in a fourth dimensional mindset, which means that you are awakening. If you're listening to this now, you're going, what are you talking about? What are you saying? Well, your energy, your mindset changes. Everything from the beginning of the awakening process of yourself finally reaching you, it will start telling you, your spiritual being will question this thing called death, which doesn't exist. And there's many levels and dimensions to this whole life experience through the universe. We're going to keep it in just this part of the segment, which is the awakening part. There's much more to talk about, and I have a lot of segments already going on the SoundCloud that you can check out. Follow my links. But with this present moment, this is the awakening, is that you get into the present moment and you start having this feeling of no fear. You have no more confusion. Your job and the people around you start seeing a different individual, and you become a little bit more enlightened. You start really exploring the truths of all things. For me, it's just been one scenario after the other, but I realize that it's all related. So I've created a book that I've been writing called The Four Winds of Change, and it speaks about the process that we're in within this third dimensional earth, and about all of our energies and what's going to happen if we don't make this change. We have to make the change, or Earth will make the change for us. And the book is Earth is going to make the change for us. So keep following my Four Winds of Change on Facebook. This book is coming together, and I'd like to have it finished and processed for you all by this Christmas. It'll be a good story, and I'm writing it. Of course, it's going to be fictional, so because there's no truth behind what I say. Otherwise, it wouldn't be interesting if it was all truth, because see, then it would just be religion. And is that really all truth? Well, that creates the greatest fear in people, and that fear creates an awakening. But sometimes that awakening is created through beliefs, and beliefs are not enough. So, you know, whatever it takes you to awaken, that's great. But as you enlighten to the universal path and the universal energy of who you are, you'll start to understand what I'm speaking. The religion aspect of it is a third dimensional. As far as I'm concerned, it leads us into our true self. Our higher power is our fifth dimension, our true self, that is truly trying to come back home. That's us. We're truly trying to come back home to our fifth dimensional mindset, because why are we here in this dream? Well, we're here because we've created it. But we've created it with the oneness, and when we understand the oneness, then we understand the negative self. And I wrote and have some really good stuff on this one on SoundCloud also about the negative self, and I'm going to go into further detail. I've been doing some more deep looking inside myself from my past to explain it further. By separating from negative self, then you would understand the oneness of true love, and it will really clear up your whole spirit being self from looking at people and analyzing. You will be able to see them from the inside out, because we are all one. And when you start to understand the universal self, then you'll realize that this one that I go back to is so far away from me. It's dimensional, right? It's probably, I'd say, 1,000 years away. That's how far I have to go back home to get there. Now, how am I gonna get back there? I used to think that I had to go in through the front door, which is the universal time travel. So I would need a spaceship, or I'd have to be something like Captain Kirk. But that's not the truth. See, the truth is that we can do it in this new age, since we're fourth dimensional mindset now, that we can take it to another quantum. We could take ourselves from this dimension and take ourselves home before we even do it. We have to understand that while we're here now to be able to process that. But, you know, the inner body understands this. So this is what you want to connect to. Toxic Bob knows what he's talking about, because I just came through this passageway, and I feel kind of like what happened is I went out on this journey, and this journey was probably, for me, it felt like 10 years. The last 10 years, I've been out on this journey, and it's really only been like a 10-day journey, because when you go out into the universe, time is reversed, and there is no such thing as time. But as speaking of time in a human sense, it's reversed to where when you do come back, you have all this information in 10 days, and it took 10 years to process it. So what I'm trying to say is I have so much to give you, and I'm only going to say that the awakening for you is the awakening for me. I'm glad that you've joined me, and I want you to check out my Facebook page on Toxic Bob. I'm going to constantly keep sending you updated information. My Four Winds of Change is the spiritual page, and Chief Walkin' Toxin is my old Indian spirit self trying to speak through the New Age world of how we're going to get Earth back to being a blessed, beautiful place. A heaven on earth is what we're speaking of, and it's another thing that's related to the elders and the Indians with the Four Winds of Change. They believe that this change is a cleansing for Earth. So how long have humans really been on Earth? Are we connected with something further and much greater than ourselves? Or is it really ourselves that are so great that we're finding out about? There's a lot of hidden truths out there, folks, so I'm going to keep sharing them as I go, and I just want you to keep listening to Toxic Bob, and we'll get through it together. So thank you, and you have a great evening, and enjoy. Remember, you only have one life on this earth, right? And your universal life is forever. So seek your inner power and join your universal self. There's no sense in following the nothingness.